Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Zach, and this is Hudson Public Library's Preschool Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is nice to have you. All right, so this week we are going to be talking about space. I think space is so much fun. Thinking about astronauts and outer space, going to other planets. It's all just really cool. So, if you think space is as fun as I do, then I've got some treats for you. I've got some wonderful books here that we've got at the library that I think are great, and they are all about space. So let's take a look at those. Alrighty. So this first one is an award winner. It won the Coretta Scott King Award, and this one is The Stuff of Stars, and that is by Marion Dane Bauer, and it's illustrated by Ekua Holmes. And this one, the pictures are just so cool, so cool. So if you've ever heard this phrase, the stuff of stars, it's really cool. And let me be the one to introduce that to you. So introduce means be the first one to tell you about. So let me be the first to tell you about that. It's really cool. So if you think of stars, like our sun and all the other stars that you see at night, those are some stars, but our Earth, the planet that we live on, is actually made of old stars. Ones that have exploded and then gotten back together into something else. And even cooler than that, that means everything on Earth is made up of old stars. And so that's what this is about. So you are made of stars. I'm made of stars. Everybody is made of stars. So that's what people mean when they say the stuff of stars. And that's what this book is about. It's really cool. So it is good for even the youngest readers. I know that that's a little scientific if you really want to get into the details of how that works, but this book is a really good introduction to this. It's got really cool abstract pictures. So if you've never heard the word abstract, it's talking about pictures that aren't necessarily realistic looking of the thing that they are. It's a little bit of imagination making them look a little bit different here. So like this is a good example. So you can see this is a little bit of an abstract picture of horses running through a field. You can see things like trees in the backgrounds there. But this is really cool, just all about that. Definitely give it a try. Alrighty, so this next one we've got is The Moon Book, and that's by Gail Gibbons. And this is all about the moon, and it says pretty much anything that a beginner young mind would want to know about the moon, all about what makes the moon go around the earth, what is an eclipse, how to look at one, and what it means when something is a satellite. What do people mean when they say that the moon is a satellite? What are other satellites? What do astronomers do? It's a really cool book. So take a look. Alrighty, next up we have got a book that has, it's not quite a wordless book, but it's got just a few phrases in here. So I'd say this is perfect for even the youngest readers. Good for practicing your reading as well. It is called Gravity, and that is by Jason Chin. And this has really, really cool pictures in them. I'd say that's kind of a thing that's common for most of the books I'm recommending this time. You can make so many cool pictures of space. So this one is all about gravity and what gravity does. What would happen without gravity? I love the pictures of things just floating away if there weren't gravity. It's really fun. It's a short book, really fun. We actually have 2 copies of this one for some reason. And so definitely check it out. Alrighty, so the next one we have is a silent book, and it is so fun. We actually now have a second one, so if you do like this one, there's another one. So this is Field Trip to the Moon. The one we just got is A Field Trip to the Deep Ocean, and this is by John Hare, and it's all about a group of kids going on a fantastical field trip to the moon. So if you've never heard the word fantastical, that's a really good one to use. It means really cool and wonderful and really out there. All right, so this is all about one of the kids who is on the moon and then kind of wanders off, does their own thing, and then they see some interesting things on the moon. And I guess you'll have to read it to find out what that is. All right, so this next one is written for kids just a little bit older than preschool, but I picked it out because I think it's really neat and because of the author of this one. So this is Look to the Stars, and the author is Buzz Aldrin, and the paintings are by Wendell Miner. Now, if you haven't heard the name Buzz Aldrin, then let me introduce you. Buzz Aldrin was the second person on the moon. He went there with Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins. They landed on the moon and he was the second person to go there. And he is still alive today as I'm recording this. So he is a very, very famous astronaut. So if anybody's going to write about what it's like to be in space, I think he's a pretty good one. So this is just all about space, all about what it means to be an astronaut, a little bit of the history of what we've done in space before, what we're planning on doing. It is really cool, especially if you're interested in the Apollo missions. This is a great one to check out. He writes about it in a way that's easy to come to, but still full of a lot of really good information. This one is also in the nonfiction section, so really great. All right, so last up, we have got the Astronaut Handbook, and this is by Megan McCarthy. And this one is about what it sounds like. This is in our nonfiction section as well. I got a lot of these this time from our nonfiction section. We have a great section on space. I have just scratched the surface. I didn't even grab any of the ones about planets. So this one is all about going to astronaut school and what it takes to be an astronaut, what you have to do. All the training you might have seen before, that you have to go in a swimming pool to learn how to become an astronaut, to practice being weightless. You actually have to go camping a lot of times because they make you practice your survival skills. They go out into the desert. There's a lot of neat stuff on here. And I think some of the coolest parts of this is talking about what is on the spacesuit here and what the astronaut toilet is. This is just such a fun book. I would definitely say take a look at it. All right, so thank you for listening to my book ideas here. We have all these and so many more here at the library, so I would definitely say come take a look. And I think space is so interesting, so if you ever want to talk to me about space, you can tell personally this is just a topic that I really like. We also have some really cool handouts that somebody from NASA came to the library a while ago and printed these off, and they are all about comets. That's his big interest. All right, so I've got a craft for us to do today. So when you think about space, you think about a lot of different things. You could think of other planets, you could think about stars, but a lot of times when I think about space, I think about our closest neighbor, the moon. So today we're going to be making a moon craft. So you're going to need a few things to do this. You're going to need some tin foil. You're going to need some scissors to cut your tin foil with. You'll need something to trace with. So I'm just using a pencil. You could use a pen or a marker. A crayon would probably work. You need something round to trace out the shape of the moon. I used this plate for painting before, and I figured I could just reuse it for tracing on here. You're going to need some glue. I'm just using a glue stick. And then you're going to need something to put it on. I am picking a black sheet of paper to be the black of space. All right, so we're going to start out here by getting some tin foil. Try to cut out just what you need on there. I'll rip that sheet off. And then I'm going to put my plate on here and trace out. All right, so you probably can't see very well that I've got it traced, but I can see it and I can get it traced out. So I've got my safety scissors. If you don't have these, feel free to ask an adult to help you. All right, I've got a fun question. Well, I think it's fun. For the adults watching this, let's see if you know. I called it tinfoil. What is it actually? What's it actually made out of? All right, so the answer is it is actually aluminum foil, and it is made of aluminum. They don't make foil out of tin anymore for pretty good reasons. Here's another fun fact about aluminum. Did you know aluminum used to be one of the most expensive metals in the world? More expensive than gold. And if you want to see something that was built at the time where aluminum was more expensive than gold, look no further than our nation's capital. In Washington, D.C., the Washington Monument is topped with aluminum. And aluminum used to be very, very expensive to get out of the earth, or what they call extract. But somebody figured out a way to make it a lot cheaper. And so now aluminum is really common. And so you get even things like aluminum foil. There we go. And this is still good for something. I think we'll figure out some sort of use for that. So keep that, use it for a craft, use it for cooking, whatever you want. All right. And I think I forgot to tell you one of the supplies you need for the craft. You're going to need some coins of different sizes. Alrighty, so now the reasons that we have these coins is we're going to be making craters. Now, first of all, this looks a little too smooth to be the moon, so I'm going to crumple it just a little. There we go. We want it to have a little bit more texture. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the craters in here. So you're going to put your coin underneath of this, put your foil on top, and then you're going to press around the foil. So I'll show you what I mean. So you can see right there, I've got the outline of that coin. You don't want to press in the middle too much. You just want to mostly get the outline of it right there. Because if you press too much in the middle, you're going to get faces on here. So I've got a 50-cent piece. If you want to make large craters, that's a really good one. All right, and then you're just going to keep doing that with your coins. Make as many or as few craters as you want. Now I'm doing my, what is this one? 1 peso piece. Dime. This one's small. I feel like there's lots of small craters on the moon, so I'll do a few of those. So you can see just still making craters here. Got nickel. And you can make them overlap if you want to. There's definitely going to be some overlap on craters on the moon. So the craters on the moon are made by big rocks impacting in on the moon. And I've got penny. Make some from that as well. I want another large crater on here. All right, so now you can see I've traced the outline of a lot of my coins. So then all you have to do is flip it upside down. The side you're going to want to look at is actually the back side. So put some glue from my glue stick onto my paper here. And then I'm going to lightly press it onto here. Don't worry, you won't mess it up too much if you have to press it on just a bit. And then there you go. That is your picture of the moon. Ooh, that's shiny. Or your craft of the moon. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more, you can also take a Q-tip or a paintbrush or even a pencil eraser and dip it in white paint and then make a bunch of dots around that, as few or as many as you want, to try to make it look a little bit more like the night sky. So there you have it. There is our beautiful moon. That is our craft for today, and that'll be all for today too. It was a little bit of a shorter one today, so thank you everyone so much for listening and joining in. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Have a nice one. Bye.